What's good, YouTube? What's good, man? So I'm sitting here doing research, and I kind of already knew this just from like have been watching the markets over the last couple of years. But I noticed something. I noticed a trend, and I wanted to present it to you guys. I wanted to present it to you guys because there's been a lot of talk around Bitcoin, especially as of the last couple of months. We've had Bitcoin reach new all-time highs. We've had things like XRP hit crazy numbers, Solana, so forth. Bitcoin has been going crazy. A lot of people, analyst projections, speculation, people have Bitcoin potentially going up to upwards of 200 and $250,000 in 2025. A lot of people have been speculating on that. A lot of people have been saying that that's where we're headed. And if that is the case, for an investor like me, I'm invested in crypto and in stocks. But in regards to stocks, what does that mean? What does that mean if Bitcoin was indeed to go to 200,000 or $250,000 in 2025? What does that mean for stocks? Well, that's why I have this pulled up. This is a chart of Bitcoin and Nasdaq, the Nasdaq 100, the historical performance over the last couple of years. So if you see, this goes back all the way to 2012. This goes back to 2012. Red line Nasdaq, blue line Bitcoin. As you can tell, Bitcoin has had much more growth since 2012, but Nasdaq has been growing as well, but just not as at an unprecedented rate like Bitcoin. But this isn't what I want you guys to see. This is what I want you guys to see. This right here. So what we're looking at is annual returns for Bitcoin and the Nasdaq 100. If you don't know what the Nasdaq 100 is, the Nasdaq 100 is pretty much just the top 100 companies in the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq primarily tracks mainly tech stocks, and this is what got interesting for me. This is what was like, which it makes sense. It makes sense. But what we're seeing here, let's take it back. Let's take it back to 2012. 2012, Bitcoin rallies 189%. Nasdaq does almost 18%. 2013, Bitcoin rallies 5,000%, 5.4 thousand percent. Nasdaq has a big year, 36%. 2014, crypto didn't do well. Nasdaq still did good. At this point, we noticed a little bit of correlation, but it was still really early on. 2015, that 2015, Bitcoin did good, Nasdaq did good. 2016, Bitcoin did good, Nasdaq did good. 2017, Bitcoin did good, Nasdaq did good. 2018, now we're starting to see it's really tracking. 2018, Bitcoin does bad, Nasdaq does bad. 2019, Bitcoin does good, Nasdaq does good. 2020, Bitcoin does good, Nasdaq does good. Bitcoin does good, Nasdaq does good. 2022, 2020, 2022 was a bad year for stocks and crypto. 2022 was probably the worst year for stocks in the last 5 years, except for that time period during COVID from like February to March. But 2022, Bitcoin bad, Nasdaq bad. 2023, Bitcoin good, Nasdaq good. This year, Bitcoin did good, Nasdaq did good as well. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? Are you seeing where I'm going with this? If they're saying that Bitcoin could potentially do go up to 200 or 250,000, that means we're going to have a massive year in tech stocks. The Nasdaq 100 is going to do phenomenal if that actually pans out with Bitcoin. Me personally, I'm invested in Bitcoin as well as a lot of Nasdaq stocks, as well as a lot of big tech stocks. So I'm happy either way. I'm happy either way. I want to see Bitcoin do good, and I want to see the Nasdaq 100 do good. So I just thought this was interesting, because a lot of people may not have looked at these numbers and seen the correlation. A lot of times we hear people say that, s- well, it was said in the past. I don't think people really say it much anymore because it's starting to really run one and the same. But people, it used to be a time where crypto and stocks did not run together. Did not run together. It didn't. But it is now. It is now. And historically, it's looking like even when we thought it wasn't running together, it's looking like Bitcoin and the Nasdaq, at least as of these numbers, except for the year 2014, was running together. When one did good, the other did good. And it makes sense because Bitcoin, tech, it's all the same. It's all the same, man. Bitcoin in itself is technology, you know. Crypto is technology based, blockchain, Web3, DeFi, all of that kind of stuff. It's at the end of the day, it's fintech, like a financial technology is what crypto essentially is. So it makes sense that it would be running in line with the Nasdaq. But I just thought this was interesting. I thought this was interesting. Let's look at these average returns. Bitcoin, the last year, 100. I think this is as of. I don't think this is as of 2024. I think this is 2023 back. So Bitcoin 155%. Nasdaq did 31%. Last 5 years, 66%, 20. So the last 10 years, Bitcoin has been outperforming the Nasdaq, which we knew. Bitcoin has just tremendously, ran up tremendously. Total returns, I think this is up to 2023. Ridiculous. And this is why I say, look at these returns. Look at the returns on both. This is why I tell people you need to be invested in both. You need to be invested in crypto and you need to be invested in stocks because it's no point in missing all of this gain, all of these gains. You could have had both. Could have been exposed to this, you know, which is probably in the minds of most people a lot safer than Bitcoin. But if you have exposure to both, you get this, which is a much slower, slower, steady climb. And you could have got exposure to this, more erratic, but those gains are substantial. Look at that. So you could have had exposure to both. And we're in a time now where you still have that opportunity. You still have Bitcoin. A lot of people, including me, believe that Bitcoin has a long way to go. The stock market, the S&P 500, Nasdaq, historically continues to go up over time. You have AI technology actually completely running the entire globe. Everything is centered around technology. So the Nasdaq is not going anywhere. The Nasdaq is going to continue to be dominant, and arguably, man, the Nasdaq stocks are what push the stock market. It's what's been carrying the stock market as of late. It's what's pushing. You look at the S&P 500. What are the two biggest companies? Two biggest companies are indeed tech companies. You have Apple and Nvidia. So the Nasdaq stocks, tech stocks are essential. Bitcoin has become essential. You're talking about strategic Bitcoin reserves, not only for the country but for a lot of different states, including the state I live in. Just announced one potentially, and I don't know, man. It's an exciting time. It's an exciting time to be an investor. It's an exciting time to be in crypto. It's an exciting time to be into stocks. And I just want to show you guys this. I want to show you guys this to show you that if you believe in Bitcoin and if you believe we will have a big year in Bitcoin, then you have to see and you have to know that that means we're in for a big year when it comes to the NASDAQ 100, when it comes to these tech stocks. So if you're not already, man, get some exposure to both. Do your research. This is not financial advice. Do your research. Do your research. And yeah, man, I'll see you on the next one.